So, folks, we have to talk, unfortunately, about Bill Maher. And somehow you guys, I accidentally played, like, a half a second of Bill Maher's voice. He didn't even get out a full word, but you guys recognized him right at the very start of stream when I did that little audio mishap. And, now we're getting to the part where I talk about Bill Maher. And I do apologize for that. But I just wanted to say that, well,
I am very proud of the mental horsepower you have.
you're very observant. And, well, Bill Maher had on Ana Kasparian. And, let's take a look. We're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously, but we're going to take a look at one part in particular. This part is titled California Crime and Democratic Failures. So, I've talked a lot about crime in California in particular, in response to some TYT stories. And I'm wondering if she's going to rehash debunked arguments. And, I'm here for that. For those who don't know, I had Ana Kasparian on the show a few years ago. And she shouted me out on the Young Turks in the past, and, well, it is unfortunate that she has since pivoted to the right. So we'll see how this goes.
Upgrade with you. Head to squarespace.com, start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch...
God, he looks and sounds like he's lost during the ad read. Get out of here.
Which is bad enough. But as you and I both know as Californians, we get a double whammy of experiencing the incompetence of leadership in our state. And so I feel like I find myself in this really interesting position of experiencing what corrupt Democratic leadership looks like and how disastrous it is. And then on a federal level, I'm not loving a lot of what's been happening recently with the Trump administration.
No.
And I understand Americans who have just completely written off politics. They don't vote. They don't engage. I think that's a mistake, but I understand where that's coming from.
Right, guys, I feel the same.
I just don't know how to fix it.
I don't think he's really listening. I think he's really invested in his weed and booze.
I don't know if it's fixable.
It's not, as long as there's like smartphones, but because that just is making us ever stupider. And I mean, people don't know anything anyway. So, I mean,
man, Bill Maher is the embodiment of a doomer, like there is something empowering about being a doomer, where you can just sit back and be like, see, the world is falling apart. It is on fire. Haha, I was right about it, wasn't I? Isn't everyone else such a moron? There's something empowering about that. There's an element of wish fulfillment or fantasy about it. And that's the area that Bill Maher tries to kind of occupy. It's also it's just childish. It's a childish impulse to just say, well, nothing could possibly be made good again because smartphones exist and everyone's just dumber and people don't know anything even if they didn't have the smartphones. It's lazy, and it's I don't know, it's just such a overdone position, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just see so many people talking about politics all the time that I feel like it's not a brave or bold position. I'll give it that much.
They've completely lost the thread with education. But can I tell you, you're talking about California.
Yep.
I mean, you're from here, right?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay.
They've lost the thread with education. Could you go into that a little bit more, Bill? What do you mean by that?
So here's a fire story. In January, when the fire hit, Matt Gaetz was a scheduled guest. I think it was January 7th. And he drove through the fire to get here to keep the booking. I mean,
wow.
I've had people cancel bookings for nothing. And then we chatted here right up until the evacuation order came.
No way.
Yeah,
Good for him.
we-
That's actually really impressive.
I-
No, but seriously.
Well, as my catchline is always, everybody's a monster till you talk to them.
Yeah.
And then there are certain things you're obviously going to still disagree about, you
Right.
know? I mean,
Yeah, everyone's a monster until you talk to them. Like Donald Trump. I talked to Donald Trump, but he's not a monster. He's just a man. Anyway, Bill, are you gonna complain some more about how someone wrote about their dinner with Hitler? You gonna complain some more about that joke piece?
Laura Trump was here, like last show we did, and you know, as all these shows with the Republicans, I mean, they take their beating like a man. They never ever like get upset when we go back, and I mean, there must have been 6 to 8 major things that you know I just pushed back on, you know, and 2 minutes later we're laughing, and there's a way to.
Yep, it's because it's all team sports to them, man. It's just like their appearance on your show is purely mercenary. You're doing their bidding. You're doing the job they want you to do. It's pretty easy to laugh along with someone when you are no threat to their power. Like, yeah. When you're like a like when you've been broken and are unable to present any kind of threat, any kind of real question to them that is going to damage them in some capacity, they're not concerned about you. They know whose water you hold. Yeah, it's a faux opposition. Exactly, Latzia.
Do it where
Right.
you just cannot expect. You just can't have that attitude of, you must come around to my way of thinking, or you're dead to me, unfriend you, cut you off, no Thanksgiving for you. It just doesn't work. Even if it was
Well-
the right thing to do, which it is not.
Right.
I mean, I would argue that cutting Bill Maher out of your life is a universally positive decision. This man is such a miserable sack of shit. Mostly insofar as, like, I can't imagine wanting to interact with him for longer than, like, 5 minutes. You know, like, it just seems like a miserable prospect.
Because you are not God and you don't know what the answer is. And again, imagine 10 reasons why they think differently. People are different. They grew up in different parts of the country. They have a different thing that was put in their head as a child, different personalities. A lot of politics is your personality. People are sometimes just born square. You're a square. What party are you going to be? You're going to be in the square party. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just, to hate them for that is just, it's cuckoo.
I mean, I don't, there's very
Yeah, to hate people who have been born into and openly decide to embrace bigotry, why would you do that?
few people that I hate. I think I can maybe name one. But for me, it's about a person's actions and whether or not they are wittingly hurting others and
Right.
totally okay with
That's
it.
a
You know
good,
what I'm
that's
saying?
a good standard.
Yeah. And I love political debate. I really do. And I forget oftentimes when I'm engaged in a passionate, political debate that not everyone thinks the way I do, because I'm able to get as fiery as we need to as we're, arguing. But once the debate's over, it's over, right? We just had a policy debate. Like, it doesn't, just because we have different points of view doesn't mean that I'm going to write you off and I'm done with you. I've had fiery debates on the show I host and executive produce, The Young Turks, with the CEO of the company and founder, Cenk Uygur. We don't agree on everything, but we have this ability to sometimes get into shouting matches. And then once we're done with the shouting match, we're done. It's past us,
And that's good practice for marriage.
Okay, well, number one, again, you might have shouting matches on the show, and you might be able to put that aside, but, like, for example, it'd be really hard for me to have a co-host who doesn't view me as a woman and who wants to debate whether or not I deserve to exist in society, which is a mainstream talking point in conservative circles, and also increasingly in democratic circles. And, like, I can't be friends with someone who doesn't recognize my fundamental humanity and my fundamental identities. You know, like I am a woman, and if you aren't going to treat me like a woman, I can't have like a relationship with you. In a similar vein, like someone who is viewed as subhuman can't have an equitable working relationship with someone who thinks that they are inherently superior to their co-host. Like that doesn't work.
Actually, yeah, it is.
Isn't
it is. It is totally. Because
Awkward.
at the end of the day, you're talking to a human being. You're fighting and arguing with a human being. And to like distill them as one political viewpoint and nothing more, I think is unfair to them. And people change, by the way. I've changed, right?
Right.
And
True.
going through that evolution has made me far more empathetic to people overall.
Change
right?
is good.
Change is
Except for the trans people. The empathy applies to people overall, but not those people over there.
excellent.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing stupider in politics.
Like, are we gonna get to birthing people? I think we are. Yeah, women's spaces and trans policies. I bet we're gonna come up with some interesting takes there, huh? Well, I guess we'll find out.
And people who say, well, he's changed his position. Yeah, he was 18.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
grew.
totally.
You know, he got new information came along. Flip, flop, flip, flop. You know,
Totally.
if it's generated by logic, flip flop is good. It means you grew, you learned something new.
Totally.
You went with the facts. You weren't stuck in, no.
Well, wait. In politics, a flip-flop can be many different things, not just, oh, I learned new information and changed my beliefs accordingly. No, sometimes a flip-flop is done out of political convenience rather than due to new information. Unless that new information is polling information, I guess.
Oh, I believed it when I was 12 and I believe it now. Girls have cooties. That's my position.
It's ridiculous. I mean, also, it's okay to change your mind if you won, the policies you want have been implemented, and it turns out the policies suck and you don't like them, right? I mean, it's okay to admit, oh, this didn't work out. Let's recalibrate. And that was my big issue with Democrats and California in particular, where it's like,
Cashless bail.
we have done some of these criminal justice reforms, and
Like?
they've been kind of
Oh,
disastrous.
so much. I mean, if
Right?
I could
Like?
list just the things that the left has done
Like,
that they think are helping that are counter to their own goals.
They're literally
Like?
That's how
getting
much
people
your head is up
killed.
your
Yeah.
ass.
Like
you know,
what?
defunding the police.
Well,
Which, you
has that happened anywhere? Just out of curiosity. Here. Let me just LA police budget by year. Huh, weird. Seems like it's gotten bigger almost every single year. Wowee. In fact, it's over $1 billion bigger in budget than it was in 2012. Damn, that's crazy. Who can say?
know, like, didn't help African Americans who usually want more police, not corrupt police.
it's even worse than that.
But that
It's even
they
worse than that.
want more police. It's so racist. They think they're being anti-racist, and actually, it's being very racist to assume that black.
I mean, also, the thing that you're saying is happening isn't happening. As it FYI.
People, it's saying, well, aren't they the criminals? We can't have a lot of cops around them. No, they're not.
So a really good friend of mine who does consulting for media, like, would send me polls, and the polls were about, you know, Black Americans and how they feel.
Just, you know, oh, wow. Rising per capita spending on law enforcement, accompanied by a decline in percentage of reported Part 1 violence and property offenses cleared, solved by law enforcement. Oh, wild. Crime clearance rate has gone down as police spending has gone up per capita pretty consistently over time. Weird how that works.
about policing and what they want. Do they want to defund policing? Do they want to keep the funding levels the same? Do they want to increase policing? And I was shocked. Poll after poll indicated, no, they don't want to cut funding for policing. In fact, the problem they have with policing is that they don't feel that the police force in their community is doing enough to keep them safe in their communities, which is very simple.
Yeah, it's maybe because the police are better funded now than they ever have been, and the clearance rate is incredibly low. Senator on juvenile and criminal justice. California law enforcement agencies are spending more but solving fewer crimes. That's not a result of defunding. But I guess who gives a fuck about actually looking up data?
Similar to what was happening in the 1990s. Like if you go back and watch local news reports out of LA, for instance, in the 1990s, one of the biggest complaints from, people living in, at the time it was South Central, now it's considered South LA. One of the biggest complaints was, we don't see enough police keeping our communities safe. And so the data is the data. You can't manipulate hard facts. And
wait, public opinion isn't hard facts, though. Public opinion shifts all the time, to the point where you can just straight up lie constantly, for example, about immigrants and immigration, and shift public opinion regardless of what the facts are.
For me, when I signed on to criminal justice reform, what I thought I was signing on to was, we're going to reform our prisons. Our prisons shouldn't be torturing people. Prison rape shouldn't just be accepted, right? I want this to be more than just punitive. I want to rehabilitate people. I want to have a situation in which they pay the price for their crime, but they're also being rehabilitated so that when they get out, they're able to be productive members of society. We didn't actually do much of that in California. There's one prison that's been reformed, and it's actually showing really great results, and I hope that that spreads. But the idea of, we're just not going to punish anyone for pretty much anything is not what I thought I was signing up for. But
that's also not what you have. Like, the data absolutely does not back up the idea that crime is just now legal in California. At all. Like, again, there are two possibilities here. One is that she has just shifted into lying grift land, and the other is that she is just high on her own supply. Like, this is just not, this is nonsense either way. But one is like a nonsense of maliciousness intended to basically just throw facts and reason under the bus for her own short-term gain. But the other is, she's just disconnected from reality. Like, she got the ChatGPT brain. She spent too much time on Twitter and it rotted her senses. Like, those are the two possibilities that I can figure out. Why not both? Could be. Though grifting, I feel like, assumes a level of, the information to the contrary, and yet you forge ahead anyway, It's
pretty much what we've gotten. And preemptively shutting down, 4 to 5 state prisons without really having a plan in place for what happens to oftentimes like violent inmates was a disastrous idea by Gavin Newsom, to be honest.
I mean, the bizarre, just this bizarre obsession with putting women, rather men, or at least people with penises.
Oh, you're going to get...
Oh, good. Bill Maher going to be talking about how we need to put trans women in men's prisons.
Be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble, Bill. You're going to get me in trouble.
Why? There's no trouble for
because
you. Your life is trouble.
I'm supposed to be totally okay with it.
There's no supposed to be. First of all...
Is it bad that I don't want to see a dick in the women's locker room? Is that bad?
No.
Is the implication here that you want to see a vagina in the women's locker room? Like, is the implication here that, like, you look around at, like, the sea of vaginas in the women's locker room and you're just like, finally, I can be at peace? Because that's also really fucking weird, right? Number one. And number two, like, it's not weird that you don't want to see somebody else's genitals in the locker room. Most people don't want to see other people's genitals in the locker room, regardless of what genitals they are.
No.
I just don't. I don't want to see
And
a
you sh-
cock
and you
in the
sh-
women's locker room.
And you shouldn't, and no woman should. I mean, this is basic 101, and this is, again, to my point about, like...
Also, what do you want exactly? Right? Because the question is, okay, do you want trans women to use the men's locker room? Because, like, one would assume, right, if you are against or think that men are inherently more prone to rape, or like prisons, like trans women in like men's spaces are going to be more likely to be sexually assaulted, like, which they are, by the way. Trans women in men's prison get very much have very high rates of sexual assault against them. Why do you think it's okay to inflict that upon trans women? Or is this a situation where you're like, well, trans people should have a separate changing room just for trans people? And it's like, okay, so you want all gyms, all locker rooms to have like a non-gendered locker room? Which, and I'm just going to say this, if you think that one can have non-gendered locker rooms as an alternative for trans people, why not just make all of the locker rooms non-gendered? Just make spaces for people to change in stalls. Problem solved. The only reason they don't build the stalls for changing is to save on construction costs. Like, but again, that would solve the problem of seeing anybody's genitals too much in a changing room. And maybe, again, the impulse to go into the changing room is just to see the sea of vaginas, to know that you're safe from any cocks, I guess.
Like, if I just listed, and I could do it for a long time, the things that they do because they're so tripped up by their own orthodox ideology, that they think that makes them a better person, to be so counterintuitive about all these issues like this, that this makes them the good people, that they're way out ahead on this issue, and you're not, and it's not.
Hey, Bill, what locker room do you want me to use? It's a fair question. What locker room do you want me to use? I got huge tits. Which one am I going in? Hey, Anna, which changing room am I going in? Seems like a fair question.
Not what people want, and it goes against human nature, and it's not helping. You didn't,
I love that she nods her head along with this about, like, the concept of trans people going against human nature. Yeah, of course trans people go against human nature. You're so right, Bill.
Want to champion women, and you didn't. You did the opposite. You
I know,
made
because
them
there's the hierarchy.
You made them uncomfortable,
No,
and
100%,
unnecessarily.
100%. Look,
in many ways.
When you see everything as a hierarchy, literally everything's a hierarchy, well then, inevitably, you're going to find yourself in a situation where the rights of one group kind of falls by the wayside.
Right. It's a zero-sum game.
Exactly. And I don't see it that way. I respect transgender people. I do not want to treat them like the others. I want them to have rights. I want them to be treated with dignity and respect.
I don't want to treat them as the others, but
exactly.
At the same time, I also know what it's like to be a woman living in a state where we've decided self-ID makes the most sense. Okay, well, self-ID doesn't make the most sense.
No.
Because obviously, as you and I both know, there are all sorts of predators out there who are going to take advantage of that situation, and that's already happened.
That's also already illegal. Like, when you say take advantage of that situation, what situation is, like, what are you talking about? If there's a creep in the changing room, it doesn't matter if that creep is a man or a woman or a non-binary person. They're a creep in the bathroom. That's already a violation of whatever buildings policy you're in, violation of the law, etc. Like, that's already against the rules. It's not like a creep can just go, I identified as a woman today. Checkmate, law enforcement. That's not how that works. Well, you see, officer, I have my get out of jail woman card. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. At all. I'm just trying, like, take advantage of it as well. Like, okay, when you say take advantage of it, what exactly do you mean? Do you mean someone came in, changed their clothes, and then went on with their day? Or are you saying someone came in and leered at the people who were in the changing room? Because either way,
We need to
that's
get the
creepy and
giga-chad
gross.
bearded muscled trans guys lining up at the TYT women's restrooms.
Like, I don't, like, what do you want exactly? Like, do you want the trans guys to go into the women's room? I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. Are you gonna feel good with, like, this guy rolling up into your bathroom? Like, I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna feel particularly good with this guy in the bathroom, and, like, he pulls down his pants and has a vagina. Like, I don't think you're gonna feel good about that, actually. I don't think that's actually gonna solve your problem at all, but that seems to be what you're advocating for. Unless you're also saying, again, trans people just shouldn't be allowed to go into restrooms or changing rooms or what have you. Like, and here's the issue, because, like, she's trying to say this is like a live and let live situation, except it's not. Because your stance on this literally dictates whether or not, and not your stance, but, like, the policies that get implemented by government. And those policies get supported or, advocated against by people of differing politics, right? And if your stance is in favor of trans people just shouldn't be able to use the bathroom, or trans people just shouldn't be able to use, gyms or changing rooms or what have you, like, then you're advocating for cutting us out of just everyday life. Whether it is our ability to go to the grocery store without, like, dehydrating ourselves, our ability to, like, go work out, our ability to, like, go to the pool. Like, if your position is just, the pool, all those facilities need to build gender neutral facilities, like, I guess, but then why not just have all the facilities be gender neutral? And not all places have gender neutral bathrooms or gender neutral changing rooms or gender neutral what have you. Like, those aren't always an option. And I don't know, I think it's kind of a big deal to me if I'm in a place where I can go out and live my day-to-day life, and, like, if I need to use the bathroom while I'm going to get groceries, I can. Versus if I need to calculate every single day that I wake up, like, how hydrated I can be. And by the way, this is a calculation that trans people in general already have to make, which is why trans people have hugely elevated rates of, like, urinary tract infections. It's because we are scared to use the bathroom. Scared because of policies like this, like what Ana is advocating, like what Ana is pushing for. Scared because there could be a vigilante who tries to take tries to take justice into their own hands and beats the shit out of us. Maybe even kills us. Scared because what if somebody calls the cops while we just try and take a piss or take a shit? Scared because we might become the new national headline because we decided we wanted to go to the gym one day. And, like, that's never a problem for someone like Ana Kasparian. And Ana's just like, well, if we allow self-ID, then, like, creeps could get in the bathroom. They can already get in the bathroom. There's no magic force field.
Right. So there was that big We Spa story. And it turned out that the so-called transgender woman who was allowed into the women's locker room at a Korean spa in downtown LA was not actually a transgender person, was a person who had a long record of,
By the way, this is from 4 years ago. She's using as an example an event that took place 4 years ago, because despite the concerns that should trump my ability to go pee places, the best example and most recent example she can come up with is from an event that happened 4 years ago. And y'all want to know something a little bit weird? A little strange that she doesn't mention? What's that? Y Spa suspect not guilty on all 9 counts of indecent exposure? Oh, wow! Wow! That's crazy. She had to live through a 4-week-long jury trial. Let's just take a quick look at some of these details. There were bombshells throughout the 4-week jury trial. An email from a Y Spa manager named Mr. Sue, who was entered into evidence. It instructed managers on duty not to admit customer Darren Marriger, the now 55-year-old heterosexual male who identifies as transgender, referred to as he, him, and she, her on the record. The ignored email referred to a customer only by an ID number. The prosecution submitted that the communication predated the night of 2021, that the embattled bather sat nude at the edge of the spa jacuzzi tub, legs akimbo, until a female patron complained, then filed police reports weeks later. A woman recorded a viral video that night, objecting to a penis. They let the defendant in, the argument went. The defense wanted the video played so the jury could hear the colorful reaction from those set against Marriger that night. What's more, absent from the extended video was any mention of the key claim that might prove sexual intent, an alleged erection. Judge Joseph Burgart ruled, to the dismay of the defense, that only a short section of the Y Spa kerfuffle could be played sans audio. So, basically, throughout this, a lot of misgendering. The jury came to a not guilty decision in less than an hour and a half. A witness that jurors told me they found to be one of the most credible appeared on behalf of the defense. She was a psychiatric nurse practitioner who is also in the nude area of the spa with her 2 daughters. She admitted to concern over Marriger's presence, but also could see Marriger for the better part of a half hour through the window of the sauna, as the defendant remained at the jacuzzi pool. Dr. Natarajan testified Marriger's demeanor was pleasant and there was no erection. Jurors told me that they were suspicious that 2 Y Spa complaints said they just happened to show up at the same time at an LA police station to file reports, weeks after the Y Spa incident. Another prosecution witness dramatically took the stand at the very last minute. A woman named Tamara was upset that her autistic daughter had to bear witness to Marriger's manhood in the women's showers of a Sherman Oaks pool. She offered up a litany of choice words in court and admitted to telling Marriger, "I'll drag you out by your hair." Jury members told me that the highly charged witness testimony did not help the prosecution. If anything, the defendant was consistent, continuing to bathe in the women's section of pools and spas in LA, Orange County, and Palm Springs, even after the headline-grabbing Y Spa incident of 2021. Like, I don't know what the issue is here. Like, you went to a nude spa. You saw someone in the nude. Crazy. How could you expose yourself? You're in a nude spa! Jurors ultimately decided that Marriger hadn't actually done anything except what others were doing. Marriger showered, toweled off, and changed clothes, and didn't stare at others or solicit their attention verbally. Like, I'm sorry. This is someone minding their own business.
Sexual exploitation and assault or whatever, pretended to be transgender, gets into the women's locker room.
Again, didn't pretend to be transgender, is transgender.
And I felt so bad because I bought the cover story when it was first reported, but I was wrong to buy it. I should have asked more questions.
You're talking about this case after not guilty on all 9 accounts. All 9 counts.
And that poor woman, she happened to be a Black woman who's complaining at the front desk of We Spa. She was dragged through the mud when in reality, she witnessed this person fondling themselves in the women's locker room. Now, this person is not...
Yeah, honestly, excellent question. Should lesbians also be banned from women's locker rooms? They could fondle themselves. They could skeeve at, like, other ladies. But something tells me this isn't related to that.
not transgender. This is not an indictment of transgender people. It's an indictment of a policy that was not thought through.
The policy is thought through, and the policy is enacted specifically to protect transgender people.
And as a result, there are women who are going to suffer. And as a result, there are transgender people who are going to suffer because people are going to make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, that guy was transgender and this is how they behave. No, this is not how they behave. We need to be smarter about these policies. It's that simple.
It's so good to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Really good. I did not expect that.
Really?
Well, in general, you're a lot more reasonable than I thought you would. The fire breathers, you know, are always trying to...
I mean, if we start talking about Gaza, I think you're going to disagree with me probably. That's probably where we'd have the most disagreement. But in terms of the transgender...
Why do people feel like they're entitled to constantly talk about and obsess over their genitalia? I don't know. It's one of the weirdest parts about, like, cis heteronormativity. This idea that you're entitled to know what other people's genitals are, or that, like, I don't know, having certain genitals means you're predisposed to acting in certain ways. Like, it's really weird and gross. Like, again, if you're at a nude spa and you're like, well, if I see genitals, it means somebody else is sexually aroused. Like, you're the weird one there. And, like, she doesn't even care. Like, she doesn't... How do I put this? She both cares about it so much that she brings this example up constantly when talking about trans issues. But she doesn't care about it enough to actually check back in with that case and the substance of it. And the substance of it really does seem to be this trans person was targeted by a group of transphobes, and then a jury of their peers ruled that that trans person did nothing wrong. You cared enough about it to hold on to it as an example of how, like, the lying, scheming abuse of the trans person system exists and should therefore we should dictate all policy around that. But you didn't care enough about it to look up how that case actually played out. It's really gross that this woman looked me in the eye and pretended to give a single fuck about trans issues. It makes me so mad.
Well, then maybe later. Maybe later.
Like, I mean,
because I will definitely carve you into little pieces on that one.
I don't know about that, Bill.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I can't imagine having, like, such a lighthearted back and forth about the topic of a fucking genocide. Jesus. Do all people just get to a point where they become allergic to caring about things? It's crazy to me.
But on this one, I'm first of all, good for you for saying that. I say it all the time. It's no shame to say, "Oh, I believe the cover story."
Yeah, I do.
Because the cover story just means that everybody has their own narrative. Nobody pursues the truth on either side. You have to.
Yeah, no, of course not. It's not like this was adjudicated in a court of law or anything. This show is a complete waste of time. Like, just a complete waste of time.
To work really hard.
Yes.
But since it's my job, I do, to get the full story. Nobody ever prints if you read the New York Times and the New York Post, it's like these two, it's just funny to do it because it's like, oh, I see what you left out. Oh, I see what you
totally.
I see
love
what you
doing
left
that.
out. It's not that either one of you. Oh, of course, they both lie to a degree, and the New York Post is sometimes just flat out funny in how they do it, but
they
just omit.
Yes.
And you know, but like you sound like. And I say this as a compliment, JK Rowling, because this is her thing. And I don't know if you saw her take apart Emma Watson.
No, I didn't see that.
There's something that was not reported in the New York Times that I saw. Like, we don't.
Transphobia really rots your brain. Like, I can't imagine looking at the comments JK Rowling puts out and thinking, there's a rational person who's capable of intellectually dismantling anybody.
We don't see that. We don't notice this. This is not worthy of comment, and it was so fucking
A.K. Rowling. You did call it K-Fox.
was. And of course, in the New York Post, they loved it. Because JK Rowling, brilliant JK Rowling, I mean, not that I've ever read Harry Potter. To me, it's a children's book, but maybe.
She's so brilliant, though. I've never read anything she's written, but she's so brilliant. Fuck you, Bill. Fuck you.
Rowling is not a compliment.
Ay, ay. She's such a brilliant writer. That's why she named her only Asian character Cho Chang. She's such a brilliant writer. That's why she wrote about slavery and justified it using all of the same justifications used by defenders of slavery during the Civil War. They just really like it. They're happier when they're slaves. You don't understand. It was just brilliant. And you know what? It was brilliant in her children's book, which she told the only character who gave a single fuck about this mass slavery system as a hysterical, out-of-touch loser. I just, like, god damn. But she's brilliant, though. She's so brilliant.
What's that one character who's black and named Shacklebone or something like that?
Kingsley Shacklebolt, Nathan.
Be someday.
Same, yeah.
You know,
I'm right
okay,
there with
but
you.
a great one, I'm sure, got kids reading. But I just love her because, you know, she just says it and she's
just so smart. She's just so smart. I love when she hates trans women. It's the best. I feel like exactly what happened to Bill Maher, if I may be so bold. I feel like the exact situation that played out for Bill Maher is that he has been hitting on younger women and has several times hit on trans women and has been very upset to discover that that is the case. And I think that this has happened largely based on what I know about Bill Maher from his you know, how he is. You might be onto something. Oh, 1000%. I can't name any names, but I feel almost certain that at some point a trans girl on Twitter or Blue Sky has called out that Bill Maher hit on her, and I would never be able to find that post. But I get the distinct vibe from Bill that he is salty about this, and he's gonna take it to his grave. It's all about getting tricked, question them enough, and it always boils down to that. I mean, I do think, yeah, for Bill, I think it's that, you know?
finally had enough of Emma Watson, who is, you know, super woke and, you know, one of the useful idiots, also on things like Gaza. And so, like, you know, which tells you something that her views on Gaza were just as crazy, I think, as her views on, you know, on the women thing. And, you know, JK Rowling was just unmerciful. She was like, well, you know, this is not an issue for you because when you go into a public bathroom, you have a bodyguard who stands outside the door, you know. And she talked about how, you know, when I was your age, I didn't have all this privilege that you're always so hateful. I was home working on the book that made you a star. You know, it was, she just wasn't having it anymore.
Yeah. You do get to a point where, and I think on a lot of issues, I'm at that point where you're just sick of the BS on both sides, right? And you want to cut through all of it. And look, honestly, you're never going to get to the truth if you're only relying on partisan media. And that's what I was doing. I was very much in a bubble. I didn't realize I was in a bubble. So now it's like, I have to eat my vegetables. To me, eating vegetables as someone who works in media is reading and consuming content that you know is going to make you uncomfortable because it's going to challenge what your preconceived notions are.
God, I'm uncomfortable right now. And yet I continue to engage with this.
If you're listening to a podcast...
The truth never makes me uncomfortable. It only exhilarates me.
I mean...
no matter where it's...
Uh-huh.
You know, on whatever side it is.
Yeah?
And
you want to talk about a little bit of truth and Gaza then? You want to get exhilarated, right?
We are eating our vegetables right now.
I can exhilarate
I know
you.
you're going to say genocide, and I'm going to say, well, you don't know what the word means. And it's like, if you don't even know what the words mean.
I'm Armenian, and I know what the word means.
That's a pretty good comeback, though. Not gonna lie, pretty good comeback. Also, just want to point out in this particular podcast, this section is titled "Epic Israel-Hamas Debate." Anyway, deeply disappointed.
As a cis-bi man, I would date a trans person. I just don't get transphobia. Sometimes you're not dating a asterisk 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 asterisk. You're dating a woman with a personality and stuff.
Yeah, look, all I gotta say is, like, people are more than their genitals. People are who they are. I think you need to engage with each person individually. And, you know, trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary folks are non-binary, and, like, cis men are men, cis women are women. Like, you just start with who people say they are and you move on from there. And, like, I just, it seems to me that all of it just keeps coming back to a profound lack of comfort in the uncertainty that trans people inject into social interactions. Right? Like, the uncertainty of, like, well, what's your genital situation? Because rather than just ask after getting to know someone a little bit, a lot of, like, heteronormative folks like to just be able to assume with 100% correctness. It's really weird. It's why I think gender reveal parties are so weird for, like, babies, because you're just saying what the genitals are in, like, a socially acceptable way, but that's weird. Yeah, like, we cause them to question. They don't want to question in the first place. I don't know. Like, I feel like I should be able to exist as a question. Like, if I exist as a question, then ask me. Ask the question. Talk to me like I'm a complicated, nuanced human being. They don't want to think at all. They do just want to autopilot through the social situations. And, like, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Asterisk 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 baby or asterisk 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 baby, come to our genital reveal party.
Exactly, Nathan. Was that a poem? No, it was just me speaking. So, all that being said, I don't really have a good way of wrapping this up. I'm not going to subject you guys to just a ton of this. There's a lot of other things we could dive into, but I'm done. You know, I don't know. Like, it's such a weird thing for her to double, triple, quadruple down on. And it makes me feel really weird and odd in a way that I have a difficulty articulating. Because this woman, like, talked to me directly, and we had a long, in-depth conversation, and now it just kind of seems like perhaps the entire time she was just, like, fixated in an unhealthy manner. And, like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. It's bizarre. I got you, Jack. Anna sucks. End of segment. But Bill Maher also sucks. Yeah, like, I guess I was always just like an inferior class to her, an inferior curiosity. And that's pretty sad. What a narrow-minded way to live one's life. I feel sorry for her. And I would feel sorry for Bill Maher, but, like, fuck that guy. All right, whatever. If you enjoyed any of that, if you got anything out of that, please like the show and drop those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment. Leaving a comment really, really helps. And consider, sharing the segment, doing the things that help the channel grow. Also, folks, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. There's a link down in the description. And for those of you who want gender euphoric lingerie, it's designed from the ground up for trans femmes. If you're cis man, cis woman, a non-binary person, anyone in between can wear it.
After seeing you talk more about Imogene Olivia and gender can be what I was thinking, why keep lingear for just women, maybe make some for men too.
Exactly, Nathan. Which is why we also tested Imogene Olivia with cis men. And I can tell you, I have seen cis men wear it and post pictures of themselves online, and they look really fucking good in it. So, look, if you're a cis man and you want to try out some Imogene Olivia lingerie, it is a non-tuck line of lingerie, and it will be very comfortable for you. It's also very comfortable for cis women who like larger gussets and like wider band sizes. There's a lot of really cool stuff.
2 words, ball hammocks.
Okay, ball hammocks, don't like that phrase. However, Imogene Olivia will be coming out with what we're titling an enhancing fit for those who want to enhance what they got, or that is also Packer compatible. So there will be more stuff coming in the next year. So keep your eyes peeled, because that is already in the works. But we're definitely under no circumstances calling it ball hammocks. Yeah. So it's a lingerie line designed for folks who want to just be loud and proud and femme, regardless of their gender identity. But it's been designed with trans femmes in mind specifically. So all that being said, go check it out. Link in the doobly-doo, and let's keep on going.
Riverboat deck is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.